Okay then, I'm going on the trip with my mom. You stay here, okay? I was shocked and couldn't say a word. But this is the prize I won in the contest, you know. Also, if the winner doesn't use the ticket, it becomes useless. I wanted to say that, but my husband David cut me off with something shocking. If you don't like it, we can just get a divorce, he said. Excuse me. I mean, if you can't agree with what I'm saying, then we should get a divorce. His words made my feelings for him instantly fade. My name is Olivia, and I'm a 32-year-old office worker. I went to an all-girls school from middle school through university and started working without really talking to men. I was so busy with work that I never had time to fall in love. Suddenly, I was 27 and still single. Thinking this was not right, a friend set me up on a blind date. That's how I met my first boyfriend, who was a freelancer but lied about being an office worker. After we started dating, he lost his job and seemed ready to rely on me for everything. I ended things as soon as I could. After that experience, I became even more cautious about men and found it hard to trust them. So I reached 40 without any serious relationships. My parents were even more worried about me than I was. Both my parents had already been married for several years by the time they were my age, so they were quite eager for me to settle down as well. Back then, most people got married by 24, but nowadays it's common to marry later, even in your 40s. My dad started bringing me several arranged marriage proposals, saying he'd find someone for me since I didn't have a boyfriend. At first, I rejected all the offers, but over time, I felt bad for continuously saying no to what my dad suggested. I could tell that my parents, who wanted nothing but happiness for their only daughter, were getting impatient. So I decided to take a positive step and agreed to go on a blind date to show my appreciation for my parents. That's when I met David, who later became my husband. David was 31, just like me. He had been to an all-boys school and never really had the opportunity to fall in love with a girl before. What I liked about him was how caring he was towards his parents. He looked after them well, often visited their home, and took them on trips. He appeared to have a good character and a stable job at a company. I checked his business card to be sure. Having learned from a past mistake with a previous boyfriend, I was very cautious. However, everything seemed normal with David, and I felt he was trustworthy. As we dated, David, knowing I was shy, took the initiative and treated me very well. I gradually found myself more drawn to him. After 3 years of dating, David proposed, and we got married. My parents were overjoyed and shed tears of happiness when they heard the news that I was finally getting married. I genuinely felt fortunate to have met a good man and was equally pleased about looking after my parents in this significant way. After our wedding, my husband and I enjoyed our honeymoon and began our married life with joy and companionship. We both had jobs, so we shared the household duties accordingly. Cooking was my forte as my husband wasn't great at it, so he took on the laundry and cleaning tasks. We worked well together, supporting each other and enjoying a harmonious married life. However, our marital bliss faced challenges after just a year. The turning point came when my father-in-law died from an illness. This event deeply affected my husband, who then started paying excessive attention to my mother-in-law, Julie, who was left alone. David, my husband, began spending his days off at his mother's house. Sometimes he and Julie would go out, just the two of them, and occasionally he would stop by her place after work to share a meal. They even started taking trips together. This situation made me feel deeply disrespected. It wasn't just about him caring for his mother, which I understood and respected, but the secrecy and the priority he gave her over our relationship hurt me. It seemed he had shifted from being family-oriented to becoming overly attached to his mother, a true mama's boy. Despite this, David appeared oblivious to the implications of his actions or how they affected our marriage. In an effort to maintain peace and hoping for a change, I decided to compromise and continue investing in our relationship. The idea of divorcing after only a year of marriage was upsetting, particularly considering how it would affect my parents. Moreover, I harbored hopes that starting a family might bring a new dynamic to our relationship, potentially shifting David's focus. The decision to not rush into a divorce was difficult, but I resolved to stick it out, pondering on the complexities of our relationship and the potential for change. I recently started a new hobby of entering contests to win prizes, which I found surprisingly enjoyable. I've been winning things like cosmetics and food by writing reviews and staying persistent. Then I won a big prize in one contest: airline tickets to Fiji. I was so surprised that I read the email 3 times. I carefully checked to make sure it wasn't a scam. It didn't lead me to any strange websites or ask for my credit card information, so it was indeed a real win. I learned that I needed to contact the airline in advance to use the tickets. I wondered who to take with me. My husband had just gone to New Hampshire with Julie. I thought about asking my friends or my parents. Eventually, I decided to give the tickets to my parents so they could enjoy the trip. I went to my parents' house to tell them about it. It's been years since we traveled abroad. "Are you sure about this?" my dad asked. "You won this, Olivia." "It's okay. Don't worry about it. I want to treat you guys this time," I said. They were happy, but then my dad noticed something in the ticket's conditions. "This ticket is only valid for the person who won it and can't be transferred or sold," he read. "What? Does that mean I can't give it to you both?" I asked. "Yeah, it seems so," he replied. "Oh well, it can't be helped," my mom said. "You won it, honey, so why don't you go with David?" Since my parents suggested it, I decided to go with my husband. When I returned home from my parents' house that night, I found a woman's coat by the front door. It looked familiar, yes, it was Julie's coat. When I entered the living room, I saw Julie watching TV. "Oh, Olivia, did you just get home? It's your day off? So what kept you out so late?" she asked. "Oh, I didn't know you were here, Julie," I replied. "What are you implying? Is it wrong for me to visit my son's house?" she said. "No, it's not," I answered. Julie seemed nicer to me when my father-in-law was still alive. Since he passed, she has been very strict and cold towards me. "What's this? What did you buy?" Julie noticed the bag I was carrying. "It's nothing," I said. "Just show it to me," she demanded. "Why?" I asked. "Just show it," she insisted, and then she snatched the bag from me. "Fiji, are you just treating yourself? What are you doing with David's money?" "What are you talking about? I've never depended on David's money," I said. "I won a pair of travel tickets in a contest, so I thought I would go on the trip with my husband." "Oh, really? A prize, huh?" Julie's mood suddenly changed, and she got excited. I had a bad feeling about this. Then my husband came into the living room, fresh from a bath. "Oh, Olivia, welcome back. What's wrong?" he asked, hearing his mother's excited voice from the bath. "David, listen. Olivia won a trip to Fiji in a contest," Julie told him. "Wow, that's great," he said. "Yeah," I added, "so I decided I'd go with you, David. I even bought a guidebook for it." "How many people can go on that trip?" he asked. "It's just 2 tickets, so it would be just us," I replied. David was silent for a moment, glancing at Julie. She was looking at him with wide eyes, like a dog hoping to be fed. "Okay, well then, I'm going to go on the trip with my mom. You stayed home, okay?" he said. I was completely speechless. I couldn't believe David was so attached to his mom. "This is what I won from the contest, you know," I reminded him. "So what? We're a couple, so what's yours is mine, right? And what's mine is my mom's," he replied. What kind of logic is that? I thought. No way. Besides, you and Julie just went on a trip a few weeks ago. That trip doesn't relate to this one. I paid for that, and it was within the country, he argued. I haven't been on an overseas trip in years. I'm so excited, Julie chimed in, already planning the trip. Hey, I didn't even agree that you two would be the ones going. Besides, the ticket would be invalid if I'm not there, I tried to say, but David cut me off with something shocking. If you don't like it, then we can just get a divorce, he said. Excuse me, I said, if you can't listen and follow what I say, then we'll get a divorce. I never thought he would say something like that. Instantly, my affection for him cooled. Do whatever you want, I told him. Why didn't you just say you were so selfish? Both David and Julie looked as if they had won a big fight. They took the guidebook from me and began to happily plan their trip. Meanwhile, I started thinking about what I would do after a divorce. Later, my husband asked me to contact the airline, so I did. I asked if I could give the tickets to my husband or relatives if I couldn't go. Sorry, but you're not allowed to give the tickets away, even to your family or relatives, the operator replied. Well, of course, I said, realizing this made sense. I then decided to decline the tickets I had won in the contest and hung up the phone. Afterwards, I told my husband about my decision. I called to remind you about the terms and conditions on the tickets, so please check the details. Then my husband scoffed and said, I don't need to read the terms and conditions, and left the tickets on the shelf. He probably never thought those tickets could be invalid. I told my parents about this incident. I asked them for help because I planned to move out on the day David and Julie went on their trip. My father was shocked when he heard what happened. He had suggested the arranged marriage with David, so he felt responsible. It's not your fault, Dad. He only recently started showing his true colors, I reassured him, trying to make him feel better. On the day of the trip, David was in a great mood and getting ready to leave. Well, I'm off then. Take care of the house while I'm gone, he said with a big grin. Yeah, have fun, I replied with a big smile, surprising him. As soon as he left, my parents arrived to help me move. They loaded my belongings into the car, and we drove to the new apartment I had found near my office. I had started looking for a new place as soon as I got fed up with my husband. 5 hours later, my husband called me. Hello. Hey, what's going on? They said our airline tickets are invalid. Yes, that's correct. If the winner doesn't go, the tickets are invalid. I didn't hear anything about that. I told you, didn't I? I told you to check the terms and conditions. It's all written right there. You've got to be kidding me. I wouldn't even read that. Well, that's your fault for not reading it. It's like someone who gets sued and says they didn't know anything about the law. What am I supposed to do now? I already got a hotel in Fiji. They told me I'd have to pay for our own ticket fees. Like I said, it's none of my business anymore. You and Julie should just take care of it. I said that and hung up the phone. 20 minutes later, my husband called again. What now? Hey, why can't I pay with your card? Huh? My card? What do you mean? I panicked and checked the drawers, only to find that my card, which I had been using as a backup, was gone. You took the card without my permission. I was only borrowing it for a little while, but I was told by the airline staff that I can't use this card. What the hell is going on? Are you stupid? If you're not the owner of the card, you can't use it. But on the internet? Huh, internet? Oh no. And he hung up the phone. No way. I immediately checked my credit card statement for the card I used as a backup and saw charges I didn't recognize. I remembered my husband had been buying a lot of clothes and other things recently. He must have used my card without my permission. I quickly blocked the card and took a screenshot of the statement history. With this evidence, I planned to confront him later. A few days after his trip to Fiji, my husband called. Hey, what is the meaning of this? I don't see any of your stuff and belongings in our house anymore. And you left divorce papers on the table. What the hell are you thinking? Well, I mean, I can't go on living with a mama's boy who prioritizes his mother over his wife and turns into a thief using my credit card without permission. What? If you won't sign the divorce papers, then let's fight in court. Court? Oh, are you in trouble? If people at work find out about this. I see. Then I'll request my divorce through my lawyer, so you better quietly agree to the request. No way. My husband reluctantly agreed to the divorce. He accepted on the condition that there would be no division of property, and he would also pay for the credit card bills he racked up without my permission. But my revenge doesn't end there. I decided not to talk about what had happened, but I wasn't sure what my father, who had arranged the marriage, would do or say. Soon my ex-husband called me. Hey, this is not what we agreed on. Everyone at work knows about what happened. Now, they talk about me behind my back, and I'm known as a mama's boy and a thief. I can't hold my head high in my company anymore. Oh, what a pity, I replied, but I hadn't told anyone about this. Did you forget that so many people were involved in our marriage? He asked. Yes, our marriage was arranged through connections. My father, a general manager, and my ex-husband's boss, a department head, were good friends. They set up our blind date because my ex-husband was a promising bachelor working under him. It turned out that my ex-husband's boss was very upset with him over this whole mess. David was now being shunned at work, and his career prospects had dimmed. As for Julie, the news had spread to her neighbors, and they started avoiding her, leading her to isolate herself at home. They both faced the consequences of their actions, and I felt no sympathy for them. Meanwhile, I focused on my career, earned a promotion, and received a raise. To celebrate, I took my parents on an overseas trip to France, a place we had all wanted to visit for a long time. We created wonderful memories together. This whole ordeal has been a learning experience for me. I'm shocked that he turned out to be not just overly attached to his mom, but also a thief. At this point, there's nothing more to be done for him. I'm relieved that my family enjoyed their time together in France. I hope I, a kind and family-oriented person, will find someone better and truly wonderful in the future. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you in our next video.